Excellent. एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरपहु निर्वैर अकाल मूरत जुनी सै पंगुर प्रसाद जप आद सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच। वाहिगुरु 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 जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। नानक सहज मिले जग जीवन नदर करो निस्तारा। Alright, so it's a little down the camera, but that's okay. So this is 26 December 2024, 9:13 p.m. and the title of this live stream is Why Emojis Are a Video Editor's Nightmare. So today's day was primarily spent in editing. Surprise. So kind of like a heavy intense editing day. In the beginning, in the morning, I did not go to the gym because it's like that 1.5 hour of extra time will really help me pull off some deadlines that I have to, and I wasn't able to. So towards the evening, I was kind of like just leave everything and just let it be. that usually happens with these heavy video edit days. Is the hue a little too much on the face? We'll roll with it. So that was that. But then towards the end, while I was working on the cut down and I was trying to work with the text, this occurred to me that, if we put emojis in it, it will make it look a little more nicer, like a little more playful, interactive. And that's when this dreaded age-old nightmare dawned to me, that there is no real way to put emojis straight inside an editing software. At least Premiere Pro, After Effects, Resolve, the standard softwares. Maybe there are other softwares that can do it, but here you have to drag in an image or an SVG and then do it that way. What a nightmare. And having said that, there are mobile editing apps. I don't know about them, maybe you can't, but I know, as a matter of fact, Instagram Stories allows you to just put text and have an emoji as if you're typing a message on WhatsApp, right? You type text and your emoji is basically an extension of your text, or even in any word editor like Notion or Microsoft Word, you're typing and then you press window plus period key and then you get the emoji tray, and then you can just put an emoji and it's part of the text. It shouldn't be that difficult for editing softwares to figure that, right? I mean, I don't know if it is already figured. Please let me know in the comments. I would love to know. But in this live stream, what we're documenting is how to work around it. Okay, so what would just happen? I had to press Shift G2. Sorry. Now Window G2. Okay, so here we are. It feels a little too low. I'm gonna take it a little low. Yeah, we're back to where we've been. Actually, just turning it a little bit messes up with the thirds. Okay, we're good. Okay, awesome. So, what is the workaround? Let me just open a few things. So to illustrate the point that I was saying so far, if you put this in here, let's say I take my text tool. This is Adobe After Effects. I type in some text. Okay, why is it Times New Roman? Familjen, bold, semi-bold. Okay, this is very nice text. Okay, so by default, if I come in here, say window plus period, you get this tray here. Okay, and you try putting an emoji, this is what you get. So the maximum that these editing softwares can help you in terms of emojis is you get this kind of like a grayscale situation. And wait, let me just, is there a way to open control room from here? No, because I don't see anything. Maybe the chat will come here itself. Okay, so this is what the maximum that you can get from, and yes, this, if you zoom in here, this is my reaction with this kind of a situation. And you would, one would argue, well, you have these fonts that you can use. So if you type emoji font on Google, you get Google fonts like Noto Color Emoji. I have downloaded both of these, Noto Emoji, Noto Color Emoji, and this sounds like a promising thing, right? You could just have a font, and you choose that font, and whenever you want to add an emoji, you switch the font for this particular part, and then you say it's currently by default taking Segui UI emoji, you say Noto color emoji, and when you select that, this is what happens. I mean, After Effects is just plain straight up refusing to acknowledge that is a thing. It's just ending the bounds of my layer over here. I mean, it doesn't even see any text content, the source text beyond this, so the layer is ending right here. And this is my problem, right? If I want to add emojis, for instance, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I have to have, let me come back here. Let's say I want to add some emoji. This is a PNG file. Let me add this bomb emoji text. This is bomb text. Now this works fine. This is an SVG. You can scale it up, and it should be able to preserve transparency. No, it does. Oh, it's a PNG. It doesn't. Anyway, it's a very big PNG, so we're covered that way. So this is what you have to do. And now the reason it's so unhelpful is what if I want to animate this, right? If I want to animate this text, well, now I have to time the animation, like the opacity of this thing to match with this thing, like all of this extra work, and now it feels like one continuous kind of thing. So as of now, this is the only thing that I mean, I don't know if there's another way, but this is what I feel the workaround to the situation is. Now, how do you fix this, right? I'm going to show you one thing which I haven't like figured doing right now. I have to. It's going to be like a process, but this is the most efficient way to do it. Now, before that, the difference between SVG and PNGs, what you see right now on the screen is a PNG. I've dropped in a PNG, which is basically pixels. What we want to work always with is SVGs. That is over here. If I come, SVGs, scalable vector graphics, you scale them up or scale them down, they're not going to lose any sort of, they're not pixels, this vector graphic data. And one thing about SVGs, before that, you see one important thing I want to talk about is you can't just pick, let's say, iOS emojis from online and use them, because there is a copyright to that. However, on Chrome there is this very beautiful pack called, which is free, it's called iOS emoji pack, and there's a Figma file that you get out of it, and I have downloaded it. It is amazing because it has everything that you would ever need, right? All of the iOS emojis, and iOS emojis are like kind of cool, so they look very neat in your video edits as well. I'll tell you what the problem with these is. It just takes a little time to show up. So there's a lot of them. This is such a pretty font. Oh, Sans, what is it? SF Pro. Yeah, SF Pro is so sweet. Amazing. So let's say I want to use this emoji, right? If I double click on this, this is slightly frowning face. So what you see on this Figma file is there is this layer, slightly frowning face, and then there is this image underneath, which is, as you can see, 72 pixel by 72 pixel. So when I was to come in here, let me jump. If I come in here and I export, right, and over here you have an option to either export a PNG or an SVG. If you export this as an SVG, what you're going to get is a blank blank SVG. There's going to be nothing in it, because this is, in this Figma file, this is actually a 72 pixel by 72 pixel image and not a vector. So when you export, when you hit this export button, Figma will not automatically just create it into a vector like you do it in Illustrator and then export it as an SVG. So that doesn't work. And the problem with PNGs, right, if let's say I export this as a PNG, I export this, I put it here only where I've been putting emojis. If I come into After Effects, I come back here, emojis, and what was that, slightly frowning face. I drag this here. The problem with this is when you look at it at its natural size, it is fine, right? But what if I want to increase the size? So the moment I make this big, well, this is what you get. It's extremely pixelated, and this will not work at all. So that's the reason I need SVGs. So once that is out of the way, ChatGPT helped me understand that there is a open source thing to get emojis called Noto. What was the folder name? Noto emoji main, right? If you just search on the internet, you say Noto Noto emoji main. Huh? Wait, yeah, this GitHub link. Okay, Noto emoji main. You come in here and say code download zip. When you download the zip, you're gonna get all the PNGs and the SVGs. So well, it says open source, so you can just use it. Now there is the problem which continues from here. When you download the zip file, right, Noto emoji main, you go to SVGs. Twofold problem. First is you will not be able to see it there like this, like how I'm seeing it with all the overwhelments. Let me just fit it here and make it extra large icons. You won't be able to see it this way because by default Windows Explorer does not appreciate or recognize SVG icons. So for that you have to download something called as SVG SEE x64. Let me see if I can show you the link of where you download it from. Where did I download it? Releases, yes. So this is the page you want to go to. github.com/Thibault SVG Explorer. Wait, Thibault/SVG Explorer extension/releases. And you want to come in here and download this thing. For me, it was x64 because I'm using a 64-bit machine. And then when you run this, it's basically like a installable software, and then you have to restart your system, and then you'll be again you have to restart. Without that, it won't work. Now all the SVGs you can see. That's one part of the problem. The second part of the problem is these are not named, okay, and it's not named, and it's also not in order. Like for example, if I was to see, you compare it with this Figma file, right? How beautifully this is just arranged. I know what I need, and I just go in there and I find what I want, and then I can just use it. But here it's not just not named, it's just all over the place. Like for example, there are some smileys here which seem to be grouped, but then if you go down, you're gonna see some random smileys here as well, which is, I mean, there are so many of them. If you look at the items, there's 3,584 items. So that gives me an impression that, well, there are all the emojis that I would ever need here. But the problem is, how am I gonna find them? I mean, the ginger is kind of cool, but like having to find them is gonna be, yeah, right, exactly this emoji. Having to find these emojis one by one. And the other part of the equation, that's one more thing I want to show, is inside After Effects. I don't know why Adobe just happens to do these very creative, unnecessary things. You cannot just directly import an SVG. And these are one of those things where you're like, what? Like exactly what do you want? Okay, so I'm going to take one of these. You cannot just drag in and drop an SVG into your After Effects. Why? That's absolutely no reason to be doing that. But there is a workaround to that, right? What you want to do is you want to come into your libraries. You can drag an SVG into your library here, and then once it is here, okay, once it's into your libraries. Now again, this is a feature which only if you have your Adobe Creative Cloud, like your proper subscription, then you'll be able to use. So once you have it here, you can drag it here, or you can drag it directly here. Now that is an SVG file. It's still not. It doesn't seem like, because an SVG I should be able to have the button, right? Continuously rasterize. Let me see, can I right click and say create shapes? No, I think you can't do that to SVGs. However, you see the difference between the PNG and the SVG. That's clearly there. So well, I have to build this Adobe library thing with all my emojis like it is here in Figma. And then even after I do all of that effort, the workaround is still like how I showed in the beginning. You have to import it, and it's not a part of the same text. So well, it's just high time that an editing software as advanced as Premiere Pro, After Effects, DaVinci Resolve just integrate emojis into your text system. Why is it so difficult if it's easily done on Instagram stories? That is that. So I'm going to quickly show you what this was actually not even planned. Like towards the end of the day I got into this. The majority of the day, as I said, was inside DaVinci Resolve when we were working on this edit. Okay, and I want to show a little bit of what I did in terms of editing to the beat. So let me see if the desktop audio is playing, because I really liked how the thing happened. And what I want to show is how you can take music from a platform like Artlist. You can take music. Now normally how you download music is in like, it comes in one mp3 or wave file or whatever, but with Artlist you have this option that you can download the stems of the music, right? So let me play this and I'll give you an example. So let me unmute these and have the vocals. So these are all like lead vocals, guitars, synth, bass, everything separate. So come here. I'll mute my mic for the moment and just let this play so it's not interfering. I completely forgot this is YouTube, right? You can get a copyright strike, so it's okay even if it comes, who cares? But at least I was able to show that this is how you get, right? And now what I want to do is I want to show you the edit that I put together. I'm going to Alt X to clear this, and I mean, this gentle, calm way of walking on all the shit. I don't know if you can hear it properly or not. I'm gonna anyway still mute my mic and
this gentle, calm way of working, you're not gonna learn shit. Just fucking deal with your problems as they come. You can't handle the heat, then don't come.
What is that one advice do you have? How can they be Django ready?
You have to learn how to handle pressure and deal with situations. You cannot crumble under even the smallest of pressure, because every day there are going to be 10 people sitting on your head asking you for things, and you will not have a clue about 9 out of those 10 things.
How do you build a team that has the same value?
From the start, I teach my team that never leave a client's message hanging. I have drilled into my team's head, even if you don't have an update now, just reply to them, checking and getting back. If there's any escalation, I am there, don't worry. But I just want the clients to be replied to. I throw them in the water. I'm like, sink or swim. You fuck up, it's fine, because that is how you're going to learn. And I will never ever push anyone in my team under the bus. I will always take the heat for them. Whether they're wrong, whether they're right, I'll take the heat. Your team is your backbone. You know, without your team, you're nothing.
So like obviously I couldn't hear anything because my DaVinci is always running at, if you see here, at negative 16 decibels. This got nothing to do with the actual audio. I'm hoping that through the desktop audio was going just fine, but what I'm hearing and on the speaker is absolutely less, because that's how I like to work. Normally, like through the day I was working on my headphones, because with sound design specifically like this, you want to be wearing headphones and working. That just helps nail down those frequencies and waveforms and everything. So that was the crux of what I worked on. There's one thing that I messed really big in the beginning, was I should have made everything into compound clips and then started editing the main video. I just went into it full force, started editing the main video, and then I realized that the audio was not right. So that was a bit of a mess up on the audio part. Now I'll just delete all these extra stuff that I made. Towards the second half I was working on these, the same thing. I was working on the text animations, right? So this is like your trending text animation of I'm yet to animate the text, but if After Effects would cooperate and play, I'd be able to show you what I have made so far. It's not gonna play. I don't know why it does that. It just refuses to play. Okay, no worries. I'm yet to anyway animate this, so I can probably show that tomorrow. But this is the kind of, you get an idea, right? What I'm talking about. These kind of edits, like you have these text coming, and I'm thinking of rotoing him out, and then there is these little things behind, like working is behind his head, and just to like make it something different. That is that. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to document, and then we will take leave for today, because I haven't been sleeping as well. I was sleeping for so many you can say months because of the live stream situation, which by the way I want to avoid today and have my thumbnail made today itself, because the thumbnail takes so much time. Now I want to understand how I can can we make this full screen? No. Full screen projector. We can. How I'm gonna end this though? You can just see my face anyway, but I'm also seeing my face on. How will I get out of this? Okay, just close this. Okay, so I need a thumbnail during the live stream to make a thumbnail. So it's about emojis, right? And do something like this. Okay, move on that. What else? Looking at the camera is a bit weird, so I will do. We'll stick to one, and the other stick to just one. And the other thing that I want, I'm gonna remove this. Is if I go here, not this. If I go here, I've shut my Figma. Why? 22 minutes. That's very good. We're making progress in keeping this like precise. I want like a master shot of all these emojis. That's what I want. For the background. Also run Photoshop in the meanwhile. Because yesterday also, and after I ended the stream for like 35-40 minutes, I was working on this thumbnail, which seems like a very simple thing, right? Why would it take so long? But it took. It just does sometimes. Now we need to wait until it loads fully. If you keep zooming in and zooming out, then it'll happen faster. Actually, this kind of pyramid thing is also good. Maybe we can zoom. How do you go full screen in Figma? Is there a way? Present preview? Prototype needs to have at least one frame. Very unfamiliar with Figma and how it works. So there should be a view. Zoom to 100. Open dev mode. No, sorry, no. View. Minimize UI, show hide UI. Yeah, perfect. Show hide UI was the thing. So I'll take a screenshot. This is gonna go behind. So let's just make the thumbnail right now. I'll make a 920 1080 thumbnail. I'm gonna paste this here. Oh, that's beautiful. Exactly how I wanted it. Here's something like this, and it's not. So where does it save it? There you go. Kind of like that. We're gonna take, press W for selection tools to select subject. I don't like the chairs just coming in. Hold on Alt to remove this part. Okay. God. There's very little contrast here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say Alt Control R to go into quick select. Look at the steps, man. What happened? Oh, I think that's anyway. So we select and go into select and mask. Alt control doesn't work for some reason. Oh my god, that's disgusting. So we're gonna increase. I don't know what is this. Shift. Shift edge. Yeah, this is very bad. I'll have to take the brush tool and make it better. But that's because there's hair here, and man, it's such a complicated human being to deal with. But let me increase the feather a little. Maybe we have to shift the edge inside. Decontaminate colors, sure. And this is an important check mark. Wait, are we changing colors? New layer with new layer mask, okay? You don't want to do the same layer. So now here, take my brush tool with foreground as black with the hardness to full. Just erase these parts out. And here I think, and then here, yeah, that is very bad. What do I do about this? I cannot just remove this, because then it leaves a hole as if there is nothing here. But there's clearly a glass there. No. I think we'll stick with this. This is good. This is kind of funny. And you know, YouTube thumbnail, right? You want to be big. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna not do any text or anything, guys. Okay, one tip is you want to take the lasso tool and make a selection of the thing that you want your mask to be inside. Okay. Sorry, you have to see my face all over the screen at the moment. Now you take your brush tool and yeah, that's good. Okay, one final thing I want to do is I want to make the bottom into a smart filter, and I say filter blur gallery, or like blur, just blur it a little bit, just slightly. What else can we do? Do we just leave? I don't know why I find it a little funny the way this thumbnail is. Yeah, I think I can put some kind of text here to just select this part and say Alt delete to remove that from the mask. Arey yaar. You're gonna keep it here and let me take my text, and I'm taking Nonito Sans. It's not okay. We don't have a font, so we can take Poppins, and the color is gonna be black, obviously. Let's see. Pro Video Editor. Oh god. I see a chat rate of 2, but I don't see any chat. How useful. OBS. Very useful. And I'm going to switch to my channel. Go into content, live, go into control room. Hello sir, love the consistency. Thank you sir. Sing poker. Okay, back to our thumbnail. I'm gonna put Pro Video Editor here. I make it left aligned. Bring this here. And actually black doesn't quite work. We can probably try with yellow. Versatile, why emojis are a video editor's nightmare. Actually, I don't need this text. We're good here. Yeah, I think what we can add for context is your editing softwares. It's DaVinci, Premiere. Now I'm gonna put this behind. Always have that overlap. Good, we're done. This is gonna be a thumbnail. Yeah, it's looking very weird. Okay, anyway, that's good. I'm gonna export this and we will put this as a thumbnail later. So that's it for today's documentation. Thank you so much for being in the court. I will catch you tomorrow. Peace. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.